It's very, very simple. Just stick to a trade plan. Make a trade plan. Stick to a trade plan. Make sure your trade plan has a very, very good risk reward, because ultimately, the other 95% of traders are all sloppy. They're sloppy. They're gambling. They're emotional. And after 4 years, I've become so like a robot that I'm not sloppy. I'm not emotional. I'll only trade the specific plan with the specific risk reward. And that's why I have an edge on other traders. Up, Stephen Johnson from Steady Trade. I just wanted to talk to you about Oracle's daily direction alerts. It's basically an email every day that gives you the top hottest stocks, and based on AI information, whereabouts you should be getting in, whereabouts you should be getting out. And so far they've had pretty hot results. So click the link in the description below to see if you want to sign up. Peace. Welcome to the Steady Trade podcast. This is Kim and Curtin, the psychological wizard, and Stephen Johnson, Jeevan Staunton, the trader who broke every rule in the book when it comes to trading and still made it profitable. Today's episode is going to be Kim. She's interviewed a lot of people for our book, and I normally interview a lot of people. And today she's going to interview me, so it's a crazy twist. But my Twitter's on fire. Recently, it's literally on fire with how did you become profitable? What clicked? What are the differences? What are the changes in psychology? How did you finally make it? And I think we'll explore some of those questions today. But hello, Kim. I'm worried.
Aloha.
I'm scared.
You should
I'm
be
scared.
I hope you're starting.
I'm scared. I don't know what to do here. I don't know what to do. I'm worried. I'm panicking.
You're so used to asking the questions. Now you're gonna have the questions on you.
No, like I'm used to being in control. Like I'm in control. Like I'm used to people being like, "Oh, I'm on the podcast. It's new," and I'm like, I exert that dominance. And
I think you're starting to blush. I can see you starting to blush a little.
No, I think I just drink too much and my skin's going red, and I'm gonna die of alcoholism, which is a sad thing. But the positive news is we can make change and we can become better as humans and individuals.
We all are. We all are. So you're such a rock star now. I thought maybe it is a good time to interview you while you're at the peak of your rock star fame.
No, it's crazy. I was when I first started, I got like semi-famous in the trading world, and then it died down after years of failure, and then after recent success, I'm becoming semi-famous again in the trading world.
So how does that feel?
Cool.
How does that feel? Just having that success.
Like I generally judge my entire life on likes and the number of likes I can get. So when people hit that like button, I'm just like, yep, I'm popular. I've got friends. I'm successful. I'm a winner. Like I fully based life on Instagram likes. And Twitter likes.
That may not be the wisest plan in the long term, because it's a dopamine hit every time we get a like. You know that, right?
Yeah, next is heroin. I know, but no, it's all good. It's all good, and you've been trading as well. You've been learning. But I mean, I think today it's like it would be good to explore what clicked, what was the where was the growth, where was the waves of learning. As a beginner trader, it would be cool for you to ask questions to someone who is profitable, right? So
yeah.
But I want like you lead the way.
Okay.
I'm just
okay. It's hard. I know it's hard to let go of the reins.
I know. I'm trying.
But I'll be gentle with you. I promise.
No, don't be gentle. Be like BDSM. Be strict. Be aggressive. Light some candles and drop the wax. Like I am ready to be tortured. Like and there's no limitations. And I could go further, but I'll not.
All right. Well, if we have to shut your mic off till you stop talking, as I ask the question, we'll do that. But I'm sure you can.
I'm not talking.
Restrain yourself.
I'm not talking.
All right. So you were talking. You gave me a great lesson over Christmas break You were showing me just some of the basics on screen, and I had some questions, and you stopped me and you said, let's do this together. And that was such a good idea. So my first question to you is this, maybe obsessed is not the right word, but consuming experience do you have with trading? Did you have that experience or feel that way about trading right at the beginning?
Do you mean the passion? Was the passion there from the beginning? Yeah, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I broke up with me. I broke up with my girlfriend of 7 years. At the time, a lot of my friends still had girlfriends, so I was lonely. I was lonely and I was bored and I wasn't feeling fulfilled at work. And I came across a Tim Sykes ad saying, "Do you want to get rich?" And I just thought I was good at poker and I made money in that. So I thought maybe I can make money in trading. So I thought, and it looked like a scam. So I was like, let's do a 1 year trial. I'll commit a year of my life because I've got nothing really nothing else going on in my life at the time. So I'll do a year of proving that he's a fraud, an internet scam, and that'll be good for the rest of the world. Or I'll become successful and I'll make money and I'll be happy that I achieved a goal. So either way, I was either doing good for the world or good for me and the world because I document my entire journey doing it. So either way, I was better in the world, and that's all I wanted to do.
And when was that? What was that date?
That was I just posted the first ever YouTube video I ever did, and it was 3.5 years ago. It was like May 2017, and then I've been profitable for the last been profitable consistently for the last year and before. So it took exactly 2.5 years to get profitable.
Okay. And at the beginning, when you decided, okay, I'm going to jump into this, potentially prove he's a scam or potentially have an opportunity, what were the first steps you took? Literally, like, did you specifically read certain books, take certain courses of his? Where did you put your attention?
No, I joined Penny Stock and Silver. It was like $147 a month. That's not really a lot of money to have education, and I know that education, like if you go to uni, it's like 20. If you go to Harvard, it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars. I was like, $140 isn't much. Do you know what I mean? A month. And I watched the videos, and I watched this Russian seminar where he was giving a speech in Russia, and a lot of it I was like, oh, I've got to power through this, and a lot of it's not relevant. But I was doing it out of boredom. I wasn't doing it because I had a passion for trading. I was just bored.
How long did the boredom stay?
Not long. I'd say, and there was a lot. Like I know that you're learning, and you've said that you've been intimidated by the screens and stuff. And I had all of those things as well. It's so easy to sit on a high horse once you've made money and be like, yeah, it's easy. Yeah, it's easy. Don't worry, it's simple. It's so easy to sit on that high horse now because you almost want to do that because you've made it after all the hard work and the adversity. But no, there was many times in the early days where I thought, is this for me? Can I do it? Should I give up?
Give me a timeline. That happened over 3 months, 6 months?
No, it was for maybe for the first 2 weeks I was like questioning it, and then the next 2 weeks after that I was pretty interested in it, and then I'll never forget the time that I did the first YouTube video. I was not the first one, but maybe the second one. I was like setting up the camera the right way, and it was like super amateur, and I was like sitting down on some stool in this studio apartment that was shit. And I was shaking. I was shaking with nerves. I was shaking with nerves at the fact that I had to record a YouTube video. I was shaking with nerves the first time I had to speak to Tim Bone on a podcast. I had to drink a bottle of beer before I spoke to him.
Wow.
Just to calm the nerves. I was so worried. Like even Tim Sykes and any of his team, I was shaking then even at the thought of speaking to him. And second YouTube video, I was terrified. But then, and then out of nowhere,
the YouTube video, were you afraid of how you were going to look? Were you afraid of what your lack of knowledge about trading? Just like get
None of
to?
it. None of it. None of it. And a lot of people say that, and psychologists say that as well. They're like, "What's the thought? What's the message?" And it's like honestly, the thought is that I don't like deep down psychologically. We'll not go too deep into this because I want to give practical trading advice and tips. But it's like I just deep down feel like a loser. Um,
Yeah.
Even though, but not anymore. Not anymore. Like 4 years ago, I felt like I was a loser, like a total loser.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm a loser, and I'm being a loser on camera, and I'm being a loser punted on YouTube publicly. And I'm a loser, so no one will watch it. But I mean, and that's just how people feel sometimes. But after like I've like really grown in advertising to other levels. I've exceeded people to levels that I didn't think I would. Here's the cleaner. I've become profitable at trading. The podcast has gone on to do great things. So now I have a much higher level of confidence. So I don't feel like that, but at the time I did.
At the beginning, when you and I started to talk about, when you first started, you talked about studying, listening to How to Become a Millionaire? Tim's
How to Make Millions was
How to
amazing.
Make
Yeah, How to Make Millions was an amazing DVD. How to Make Millions, Trader Checklist, which we'll go on to, and Penny Stocking Framework was a great DVD, and the Tim Grattani Trading Tickers DVD. They were all monumental in my learning, in my journey.
Would you suggest to somebody who's starting out, of those, which ones should, let's say, what the first two that somebody should?
How to Make Millions. How to Make Millions, then Trader Checklist.
Okay, awesome. And would you say, when you do find yourself on the winning side, is there something that you can now pinpoint is going on for you emotionally or psychologically or just habitually?
Yeah, no, I totally can. I totally can. It's going to come in the next episode of Trading in the Zone. I was just listening to it before we'll have the Trading in the Zone book club. And when I first started trading, I was trading because I wanted to make money. I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to prove it was possible. I was trading for the intensity rush. I was trading for the emotion. Every time I put on a trade, my hands were shaking like mad. I was trading like $200, $300. My hands were shaking beyond belief at the fear, the adrenaline, the excitement. And I was super emotional and trading for emotional reasons. And now I've done trading for 3 or 4 years now. And the best way to explain it is my friend said, actually today, he said there's a war in Sudan, there's another uprising, and people are dancing on the street with the cameras filming each other, and then they're turning the camera to the right, and there's gunshots and bullets going off. And they've become desensitized to the political situation. And in the exact same way, I've become desensitized to the market. Like, I'm not excited by the market. It's okay. It's quite fun. I'm not excited by winning or losing. Like, I lost $220 today on a short. It's the first loss I've had in a long time. And I don't care. Like, if anything, it's the best trade of the month because I cut the loss tight. I stuck to my plan. The stock ran 20% further after I cut it, so I could have lost thousands. And but for me, I'm a casino. I'm a total casino. I make the odds. I make the probabilities. Everyone else plays random probabilities, but I make the correct probabilities that only benefit me. And then for that reason, I make the money.
So what I'm hearing is that the success you're attributing to is this neutrality. You're neutral whether you're winning or losing.
Yeah, like I don't care. Like I don't care. Like it. If I make 500, it's an okay day. If I lose 200, it's an okay day.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good or bad. It's okay. If I make 3,000, it's amazing. If I lose 1,000, I'm pissed off as shit because I broke the rules. So it's just about staying within a system. Within a system.
What are your rules?
It's very, very simple. Just stick to a trade plan. Make a trade plan. Stick to a trade plan. Make sure your trade plan has a very, very good risk reward, because ultimately, the other 95% of traders are all sloppy. They're sloppy. They're gambling. They're emotional. And after 4 years, I've become so like a robot that I'm not sloppy. I'm not emotional. I'll only trade the specific plan with the specific risk reward. And that's why I have an edge on other traders now.
when did this begin for you? When did you start to see yourself stepping into this discipline around keeping true to your trading plan?
About a year and a half ago. About a year and a half ago, I got to the point where I was like, I don't even care about making money. I just want to succeed at this. And when succeeding became more of a had more prevalence or more priority than making money, like money is the root of all evil. Money is always the root of all evil, and money is the biggest enemy. It's the biggest enemy of discipline. This is a war of making money versus discipline. The more money you make, the less discipline you have. The less money you make, the higher your discipline is, because you need to improve your discipline to make more money.
So can you just take me through when you're sitting down? Tell me what your day looks like. Tell me how many hours a week you are potentially going to trade. Maybe you don't literally trade, but just take me through, let's say, an average day of when you do trade or a day when you wouldn't.
Like I'll trade about an hour a day. I'll trade from 8:30 till maybe I'll really trade from 9 till 10 every day, and that's it. I trade 1 hour a day. I look for 2 setups or 3 setups, but I've sold the market so much that I can read it quite well. Even if it's not my setup, I can kind of read it. But I'll trade from 9 till 10, and I'll remind myself in the morning, you're trading for discipline, not profits. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's a practice of like today is a celebration, because today I really stuck to my plan and I really cut me loss. And even though I lost $220, it's probably for me the best, most important day of the month. Whereas all the days where I've made 500, 400, 300, 600, that's making money, but my goal isn't making money. My goal is practice and discipline.
So you said I'm going to trade from 9 to 10. So just take me, it sounds maybe a little kind of like basic, but I'm just curious. Do you sit down at 9 o'clock and start to look at the market? Or do you start at 8 o'clock, read stuff, do a little research? Like, just give me a little play by play. So I have
I do almost nothing. But the crazy thing with trading is that in the first 2 years, you have to like do hours and hours and hours. And like I already told you, like I have to do like, I used to do like 7 hours a day of studying every single day. And then on the weekend, I'd do like 10 hours. And all I would do was lose. No, I worked 9 till 5 and studied. Sorry?
Somebody has a full-time job. They probably
people do
7 hours a day, right? If they're a parent or they have responsibilities taking care of, their kids or their parents or whatever. Like, what do you think is doable for most people if they do?
I'm pretty harsh because I'm pretty extreme and I'm a little bit crazy. So I'm pretty extreme, but I'd say get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Same as Tim Bourne. Tim Bourne's a family man. Tim Bourne had kids. Get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. You can survive on 6 hours of sleep. You can get by and you'll be okay on 6 hours of sleep, 6.5. So you can work 9 till 5. You can have time with the kids. Like I'm not a dad, so I can't say, but like 6 till 8. But then you can study 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, and then maybe sleep 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 6 hours sleep. So you can get 6 hours in.
You get up and you're going to start to trade at 9 a.m. What are you doing to prep before that, if anything?
I mean, these days I've done it for a while, so I know what I'm looking for straight away. But I'm looking for top percent gainers. Sometimes I look at stocks that are up a lot over a number of days, and I'll look for the first red day. But typically, I'm looking on the day percent gainers, and I'm thinking, is the company? See, I'm looking for companies of 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70%. And then I'm thinking, second thing I think is how's the volume? Because if the volume's high, it means that the stock's up for a reason and a lot of people are buying the stock. And if the volume's not too high, that means the stock's up, but not a lot of people are interested. So maybe the news isn't that great and it's just up by chance because it's pre-market and not a lot of people are trading. So few people are wanting to buy, but no one's really up to sell. So the stock's just pushed up. And then the third thing I look at is the float. And I think, is it a low float? Because if it's low float, high volume, it's quite dangerous. If it's lowish volume, high float, then it's always an easy short. Because if it's a downtrending chart, then chances are all the people are stuck and they've lost money and they'll sell into the next spike. And then the fourth thing I look at is the long-term chart. Is the company doing well or is it doing bad? Then the fifth thing I'll look at is the news, and I'll say, is it up for a worthy reason, in my opinion, after 4 years of reading the news? Then the sixth thing I'll look at is the financials on Yahoo or on Stocks to Trade on the 10Q. Is the company making money? Is it not making money? Is it making less and less money, or is it making more and more money? Does it have any revenue, or does it have revenue but bad earnings, or does it have no revenue and bad earnings? And then the final thing that I'll look at is the SEC filings to see if it has any dilution, any offerings or anything like that, because an offering will make it more of a short. And then the final thing is the intraday. What the pattern looks like is the lower highs, higher lows. So it's like 8 steps or 9 steps. And
So
then basically
how
what
long
you do.
does that take you now? Like today, this morning, or
like 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Yeah,
go back,
it's
go
bing
back
bang
3
bosh.
years ago. Go back 3 years ago. Tell me when you first started out. Let's say the first year. How long did that process take you?
I just didn't know what to look for, and I didn't know what I was doing, so I couldn't. It's not that the process takes a long time. It's that you don't know what you're looking for, so you can't do the process accurately. The process, no matter who you are, takes 10 minutes, but it takes a few years to learn the variables and how they should react for the stock to go up or down. And when you learn, it's very simple, but until you don't know, it's a puddle of confusion.
How long do you think it took you to kind of understand those 8 steps or integrate?
I'd say 2 years probably.
Did
Maybe
you
2
feel
years.
they were put in front of you with these conversations and teachings that you were listening to, but you just didn't see how they were all related?
Yep. I would like, so for example, the way people learn and the way you learn to trade stocks is like, because I remember I had a tweet from someone the other, even today, I had a tweet from someone saying, is your strategy short and lower highs? And I was like, yeah, it's my strategy short and lower highs and 9 other things. do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it like basically you slowly master, like say there's 9 components to trading. And if all 9 components are bullish, you'll go long. And if not all 9 components are bearish, you'll go short. Mm-hmm. And if 6 out of 9 components are bearish, you'll go short, but you'll make sure you've got a good risk reward and the stock's really you're getting a good price because only 6 out of 9 are bearish. If like 5 out of 9 are bearish and 4 out of 9 are bullish, then you don't take the trade because it's mixed signals and you've got no indication how to predict it and the market's random enough.
What do you think are the 3 biggest mistakes people who are starting out make?
No, but I'll just answer the last question as well. It's basically you try a strategy. Let's say you learn how to trade intraday, like lower highs, higher highs, double tops, double bottoms. You will find quite quickly that doesn't work profitably. So then the next thing you do is say, I'm going to look at the long-term chart and the intraday chart. And then you'll also find quite quickly, you can't find an edge by just looking at the long-term chart and the intraday chart. So then you start thinking, I'm going to explore float and volume. So step by step, you learn each of the 9 components to be a successful trader. And then you start mastering float and volume and the variations and the long-term chart and the intraday chart. And then you start like, you're still losing, but you're a bit more successful, but you're still losing. Then you think, what if I brought the financials into it? What if I started really exploring shorting companies that lose money and longing companies that make money? And then you start really analyzing the news. Then you start analyzing the sectors. And step by step, you master each segment. And before you know it, when you've mastered all 9 segments, you've got a killer edge because you've got such an in-depth knowledge of each of the 9 segments that you've got such a good edge on everyone who doesn't.
Wow. And if somebody...
It's profound, right?
It is, because what you're saying is that you have to try all the things that don't work for you to get to the place of integrating all that it's not one thing. Maybe that's the biggest mistake, is people think it's just one thing instead of realizing it's an integration of all 9.
Yeah, no, but what the truth is, you've got to spend 1 month. Say you want to be profitable in a year. Spend a month looking at intraday charts, spend a month looking at long, spend a month looking at float, spend a month looking at volume, spend a month looking at SEC filings, spend a month looking at financials, and look at all of explore how a company does with each of the variations changing. Takes ages. It's a massive science experiment. Takes forever. That's why it takes a couple of years to get it, unless you're a genius.
Do you feel that it's would be okay for somebody to do a month at a time via paper trading or just watching the market, or do you feel they have to have money in the game?
Like, you know that I hate paper trading. I think it's the worst thing ever.
No,
But
I asked a question.
but no, like, but screen time is fine. Screen time's fine. But the thing is, though, it takes, and if you're a normal person, it takes about a year to a year and a half to master. Because I've just explained 9 variables, and each of them have their own very finite differences. So it takes at least a year to a year and a half to actually have some sort of basic understanding of each of these 9 or 8 finite variables and how they react. Then you've got the massive struggle if you're managing your psychology and your emotions. And no one, and it comes back to trading in the zone, but society and life teaches us to behave and practice a certain way. And trading is counterintuitive to every single lesson that you've ever been taught growing up. So it takes, like for me, like I learned all of the rules and the variables over a year and a half. I've mastered them over since time, but it took like another year on top to unlearn and relearn and reprogram my brain to be fit for trading.
So I want to talk about that a little bit, but before I do, I just want to plant a seed that perhaps we could do 9 conversations around those variables, you and I, because I need to learn them. And if there's like just an overview that you could give me of each of those 9, I would dig it. What do you think?
You want to do it right now? You want to give an overview right now, or you want to do like a podcast?
I think down the road, like we do a podcast, you and I, each of what these 9 variables are, because I think other people are going to want to know, certainly the beginners like me. I would like to know more about each of those 9 in maybe, 10 minutes. Maybe we do a 10, 15 minutes on each 9.
No, yeah, and it's easy enough to give a basic overview, but it's like there's always that joke that men can't multitask and women can multitask a little bit, but and that's the thing with trading as well. Like you've got to multitask times 9. You don't really have to multitask, but you've got to take into account all the different variables with your emotions in a high state, with your panicking, with money on the line, fighting intuitions that are not normal to you. Well, stocks are going from 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 200%, 300%, trading a million shares. Like it's a pretty hard skill to do, right? Do you know what I mean?
It is. You got to juggle a lot of things. All right. So let's talk about that, the psychology side of things. So what I just heard you say is you had to learn over a year and a half the variables that you needed to look for and how they all integrated into each other. And then
the knowledge.
At some point you were up against kind of the psychology side of things. Just explain a little bit about where you, when you look back on yourself, where you were in the beginning, and then what that kind of catalyst or catalysts that happened that made you now go to this place where you feel you're in this neutrality or the zone.
The most important lesson that I can ever tell anyone or give anyone in trading is that you have to take complete all emotion out of it, and you need to trade like a robot. Emotion is the absolute devil. If profits aren't the enemy of discipline, then emotion is the enemy of discipline. It's one or the other. They're both equally bad. But you've got to be emotionless, and that's like telling someone walk through a fire and you're going to be okay. And getting them to believe you. You're not going to walk through, like, you're going to have a panic attack before you walk through a fire and be okay. But trading's the exact same way. It's like, put this money on the line, short this stock. Like, say the stock is going up really fast, saying short it, you're going to be okay. Like, no, I'm not going to short it. It's going the other way. And when you're in a stock, you just have really, really high intense emotions. And you can't say to someone, don't have these high intense emotions. You're going to be okay. You can't say that. The only way to get around it is to have so much exposure and experience to the markets that you eventually become numb to it, and to the point where you can make very, very rational, strong risk-reward decisions.
So can you give us one example personally of a moment that you remember back in the day when you went through that panic? Like just walk us through what that looked like for you then and what the opposite of that looks like for you now?
No, like I remember no, I went long a company that makes, I think it was WKHS, or it was another company, and everyone was saying it's going to go higher, it's going to go higher. So I went long the night before, and it didn't go higher. And then in the morning it gapped down, and I only slept 3 hours because I was so worried. And then I got up at whatever time it was, and I just watched it go down and down and down and down, and I couldn't cut it because I was so emotionally invested and involved. And then when I lost it, I lost $550. And I cut it, and I went, and I didn't get up. I didn't get up for a day and a half because I was so depressed.
What
I
emotionally
was just so
invested?
devastated.
What did emotionally invested look like? Like, just walk us through what was the head talk that you had around, I can't cut this loss. What were you thinking?
No, but it's hard because it's like I can't cut this loss. I don't know why I can't. It's like it has to go up. If this doesn't go up, then I've failed as a trader. And I can't cut this loss because I need to be right, because I need to prove that I can be a consistently profitable trader. And I've lost these, so I at least need to win this. But now you get to a point where you've had so much experience, and you've had a lot of, not a lot, like I haven't had great success, but I'm profitable. You've had so much experience, and like that's 95% off, not profitable, 5% off. So once you start consistently being in that 5% for more than a year, you just have complete confidence and faith, and you don't need to justify things anymore. You're like, look, I know what I'm doing. I make money all the time. So just cut this loss.
Now
I'm like a casino. I'm like, this is the plan. If it goes over this plan, I'm going to cut it, because like, I'm like a casino. I know if I do this strategy 95% of the time, it is tested and proven with Steven Johnson's mind and hands and fingers that it works. So I'm never, ever, ever going to, because I've traded for so many years and I've seen what doesn't work and I've seen what does work. So I'm never in a million years going to do what I know doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And even and like, for example, a great example is the last three, not the last trade, but the 3 trades before that, I cut them and I made $500 on one when I should have made $1,500. I made $300 on the other way. I should have made $700 or $600. And I made $200 on another one when I should have made $400. And I cut them all early because I was like, I don't think this is right. So I took much less profits. But today, if I didn't cut that loss, I would have blown up my whole account. Honestly, FLIN, whatever it was today, if I hadn't cut that, it would have blew up my account.
So the discipline you showed yesterday served you.
And the day before and the day before. Yeah. And honestly, no matter how much money I would have made those days where I was disciplined and I cut the profits early, being safe, it would have all been lost today.
I think that's just such a great story. That just helps me understand why that consistency of mindset makes such a difference, because that consistency is why you were able to, save yourself today.
And 2 years ago, I would have blown up a $5,000 account.
Because of lack of that discipline.
Yeah, you're like, no, I've got to be right. You think I've got to be right this time? Yeah. Oh, this has to go down. But now I don't think this has to go up. This has to go down. I think I'm going to stick to my plan, because when I stick to my plan, I make money. And but how do you get? But the thing is though, like after success, you have the belief and confidence to stick to your plan. But how do you learn to have that when you don't have the belief and confidence? It's a tough one.
What's the answer to that?
You just have to try lots of different things that work, and eventually you'll find one pattern that does work, and then it will work for a period. Then you'll start messing up on it, and you'll realize, I've got to go back to how I traded it before.
So your judgment around any judgment of somebody starting out, how long do they need to give themselves?
Tim Sykes, I'll always remember Tim Sykes said to me when I first started talking to him and I was doing the YouTube videos, he said, Stephen, I promise you, don't go to anyone else. Don't learn from anyone else. Just learn from me. And I promise you, trust me, you will be successful in less than 5 years. He said, I promise you. He said, I promise you. He said, I don't care who you are, what you do. I promise you, if you study hard, you put the time in, I promise you, you'll be successful in less than 5 years.
Yeah.
And it took 2.5.
So the people that are coming into this thinking they can do a drive-by or they can figure this out in 3 months, 6 months, a year, your message to them is it's going to take a lot longer.
Yeah, no, because like, and I'll joke that I'm like stupid and stuff, but when it comes to probability and gambling and recognizing patterns and going through the variables, like I'm pretty switched on at that kind of thing because I'm really interested in it. So yeah, it's for sure it's going to take 2 or 3. Like I know a lot of guys who started out when I started out, and none of them are profitable. None of them,
Wow.
and they've been going 4 or 5 years, and none of them are profitable. But they didn't study 10 hours a day. Um, they weren't obsessive.
Yeah.
They didn't make videos recapping all of the performance. It's like anything in life. If you work hard, you get there.
Do you talk about yourself when you meet new people or friends at work? I know you have the YouTube channel, but do you talk to general people and describe yourself as a trader? Do you think that's wise?
Nah, never do it ever. I don't think half the people in the office that I work with don't even know that I trade.
Mhm.
Because it's not really, it's not who I am. It's just something that I'm passionate about that I do.
One of the questions I get asked a lot, the different kind of questions from the listeners are young, usually guys who are struggling with their parents because they're doing this, or their girlfriend or their wife. They feel like, nobody gets them. They don't understand why they're trading. They feel it's really risky.
Yeah.
Just curious, like what your advice to them would be.
No, it's so funny. That's such a good question because when I told my parents that I was learning to trade, they said, "Don't do that. It's the worst thing you'll ever do." They were like, "You'll throw your money away at the stock market. You'll throw your money at rich people in Wall Street." They were like, and me boss as well. Me boss of this company that I'm recording this podcast for 4 years ago. He's like, "Stephen, whatever you do, don't get into stocks. Don't do it." And now me mom and dad are like, they're like, it's the best thing. They're like, it's the best. I mean, within about a year or 2 years, my mom was like, "Oh, you made money poker, so you might get there." And even now, me boss Rudy, he's saying, "Oh, my wife's looking into it," and I'm like, "Yep, like yep, yep,
That's
like
awesome.
yep." And I've had and on Twitter, Jennifer Kioke is her Twitter name. I'll never forget. 2 years ago, she tweeted us saying, "Stephen, you drink too much. You're too crazy. You're too emotional. You'll never make it. You'll never be a trader. You're just too crazy." And but like here I am, the most crazy, off the wall, no discipline whatsoever. And
Well, I can't. You
but I
can't
found the
say you
discipline.
have no discipline, dude. You can't say that because everything you just told me about what you just did, especially even today, that was the epitome of discipline.
No, but I formed it over years. 4 years ago, I was like, it's so weird. Like with like with so many things in life, I am the most undisciplined person in the world. And when I started trading, I was also the most undisciplined person in the world. But after 3 years of losing and being depressed because I lost, and days of just like hating myself or my actions, I just got, it's like a skill. Discipline is a skill. And after years of practice in it, like right now, I'm like really good at it. Like I'm really like I'll mess up every now and then, and I'll take a loss that I shouldn't have took. But now I'm like really good at discipline, and I'm like way better than 95% of traders, which is why I'm in the 5%.
All right, so tell me what your advice to those guys would be, though. If they have people giving them a hard time about being a trader, do you think they should just not tell people and just keep it to themselves for a couple of years till they get better?
Nah, I think you should. I have a friend whose dad told him not to trade, and so he'll never admit to his dad that he trades. But I say that you should have such belief, such confidence, such vision. You should be able to see it so clearly in your own mind. Like I could see it so clearly. Like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, like I could see it. I could see the vision so clearly that I was going to make it. I just knew. Like I knew that there was no way in the world that I would ever not make it. And I knew that 95% failed, but I knew that I had such passion and fire that I would never not make it. I knew, and I told everybody, told everyone, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. I'm going to do it.
But,
And
but But did you tell, these are the people that you did tell you were trading, but for the you spoke to majority of people don't know that you even trade like at
Yeah,
work
no,
with these
no, no, no. But like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I was so obsessed that it's all I talked about. But I mean, 4 years ago, the company that I work for was very small. There was only 10 people. But I
Gotcha.
told all my friends, I told the 10 people at work, told me family, I told everyone I knew. I was like, I'm going to be the next millionaire. I'm going to be the next trader. And I will be I will be a millionaire. I will be a millionaire. And I believed it 4 years ago and I believe it now. And I'm so much closer now than I was then. And I'm not a millionaire, but at least I'm trading profitably. But I saw it so clearly and I still see it so clearly now that I will be a millionaire trading. Or I'll make at least $1 million for sure. But
So can you look at people now, you know, and suss out whether you think they have what it takes to do this?
From experience, I've met a lot of different people. But the one quick thing that I'll say is I don't talk about it anymore because you know when you want to prove yourself, so you tell everyone how good you're gonna be.
Yeah.
And you tell them all, but then when you make it, you don't tell anyone because
Yeah.
you're like it's arrogant.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that, and that's why I don't talk about it with people. But can I suss out people if they're gonna make it or not? It all comes down to attitude. It's not really intelligence. It's a little bit intelligence. You've got to be like relatively clever. But I mean, just the same as I am. Like, I don't think I'm dead clever. I don't think I'm dead stupid. I'm somewhere in the middle. And so the rest comes down to attitude. Like, if someone's like really, really, the attitude is either there is circumstances which are, and it's generally adversity. They'll be clever or relatively clever or average intelligence, but they'll be facing adversity, generally financially. Or they'll have a young child that they just love to death and desperate to give a good future to, and they'll study 10 hours a day. And I'll say, and when I talk to them and they're like asking us questions that are quite relevant and quite pertinent, I'll be like, this person will make it one day, providing they keep doing that 10 hours a day for a few years. And
who is this not for, Stephen?
Sorry?
Who is trading not for?
It's people who aren't in it. Anyone who's in it to make money, it's not for them.
Hard to hear you. Say that again.
Anyone who is in it just to make money, it's not for them. You need to love the game. And I know I'll just give the example of adversity, but you like say someone who wants to make money because they're facing adversity and financially, they'll get into it. But if you don't go on to love the game, then it's not for you. You can't be in it to make money. You've got to be in it because you love it. You've got to love trading. You've got to love gambling. You've got to love the probability. You've got to love mastering as a person.
Yeah.
Mastering yourself and your own psychology and your DNA.
Yeah. Anything else you feel it's important for a new trader to, like, presumably people that are watching this are still learning, they're still beginners. I'm completely green. So people like me that are completely green, that are just on the fence about whether to do this, whether to get involved with stocks to trade, whether to listen to Tim Sykes, like what's the advice, or the, not so much advice, but just like what would it be that if you could say a couple of things to them, what would that be?
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy. I think it's I'd say if you have an inkling to do anything, explore it and see if the embers of the flames turn into a vibrant fire. And if you have a fire burning in the furnace of your stomach that makes your heart beat strong after 3 months, and the adrenaline is pumping and you're obsessive and it's all you can think of, then you know that you made the right choice. If after 3 months you're lackluster, you're not so bothered, you're sleeping in for the market, you don't want to spend every week an hour on it, I'd say maybe it's not for you.
It's awesome. I listened to 5 or 6 hours of Tim Sykes's Trader Checklist, and I have to say a lot of the fear that I've had before listening to that has dissipated, because everything he's saying in that is just digestible. And like, I understand what he's talking about. I understand the concepts he's introducing. Like, maybe I can wrap my arms around this. So it's calmed me down a great deal to think, oh, okay, I get what he's saying. It's not like rocket science, but what I hear is that the discipline, in theory, it sounds doable. I get in reality it might be harder, but at least now I don't feel as terrified. So.
No, and that's one of the main barriers to success as well. It's that as humans, we're like so scared to fail, to the point where a certain setback or another setback will make us. It will reduce the drive to push to succeed. What's the point in trying it? I'm just going to fail anyway. Mm-hmm. And once you start getting those hints of success, once you start having those waves of realization, you start to your ambition and drive excels even further than you could ever have thought imaginable.
Okay, random question. When you sit down to trade, is there a certain kind of music you listen to, or a mantra you say, or quotes that you kind of reconnect to? What's the environment look like for yourself? Do you listen to death metal like Tim does, Bowen?
No, I don't. I generally these days I'm working, and I have people asking us. It's crazy. Like normally when I trade, I'm working and I'm at work, and I'm trying to juggle 8 things at once, and I'm researching and putting on trades at the same time. So for me, like it's very much like a casino. It's say like on roulette, there's I think there's 34 numbers and a 0. I'm just trying to find out what's my edge that if I play this roulette game, say if I predict the odds, because like say a casino, it has 34 numbers and the green's the house number. Mm-hmm. And the casino plays all day and night, and lots of people play. I see the public as the players on the casino table, and I see me as the casino. So every time I step up to the plate and I look at the stock market, I think, what is the odds that I'd like to give these people today?
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Like what probability will I give you that I'll win? Because trading's everyone against everyone.
Right.
We're all buying and selling against each other. So I say, as the casino, what odds will I give all of the people to play against me? And the house always wins and I win.
That's awesome. That's a really great metaphor. I like that. So what's the name of your casino?
It's more like it's roulette, so it's like Juvenlet. I don't know. It's pretty bad.
Come up with a name. You have to come up with a name for it.
I need to go to Vegas and hang out and do some cool shit there. Then maybe I'll brainstorm a name.
All right, so we're gonna close this up. So is there anything else you feel it's really important for a beginner? Somebody is green as me, right? Because there's got to be listeners who have never traded, who are thinking about it, who are just starting to read the books. What else is it that you think, as a closing note, you want to say to them?
Best advice Tim Bowen's ever said, and I've said, and Tim Sykes has said, is and I'm sure Docs and Roland and everyone else is the same thing. It's watch the market until your eyes bleed. Read books until your eyes bleed. Trade small amounts until your eyes bleed. Watch the DVDs. Watch the video lessons till your eyes bleed. 95% of traders lose, which means you need to do more than what 95. You need to do 95% more than what everyone else is doing. And if you do more than what 95% of other people are doing over 4 or 5 years, or even 3 years or 2 years, I did it in 2.5, you'll begin to kill and destroy the game, and you'll become a winner.
Okay, I'm gonna stick in one more question. What do you think? How do you think I'll do?
It depends on how much you study. How much are you going to study?
Okay, so let's say I study not as much as you, because I don't have that kind of time to commit. But let's say half as much time as you.
Take half as much time, you'll probably learn if you studied half as much and you had all of the resources, then I would say if you've got all of the resources, anyone can do it. So if you study half as much, I'd say I didn't have the resources you had straight away. So maybe you're way less reckless than me as well. Like I'm so reckless. It took years to hone in discipline.
I'd say my guess for you would be profitable in 2 to 2.5 years. No, because I was profitable in 2.5. I'd say you'd be profitable in under 2 years, but you've got to study hard.
Under 2 years. Okay, so mark the records, everyone. Let's hope to God he's right.
You're way more sense.
You're way
more. You've got all of the psychological knowledge. Psychological. You've got all of the Is that right? Psychological. Yeah. Whatever. You've got all of the psychology knowledge and background. You've read hundreds of books on trading psychology. You've mentored trading psychology. So you might not be able to put that into practice first person immediately, but I think you'll learn way faster than everyone else.
Okay. How can I not when I have Steven Johnson on my side and Tim Bowen on my side? I mean,
someone sent us an Instagram message the other day. I put it on Twitter. They were like, dude, you give me so inspiration because if you can make it, anyone can make it. And I'm like, what do you mean if I can make it, anyone can make it? And he was like, dude, you're drunk all the time. You talk about lady boys all the time. And you're the most craziest person I've ever met. So I don't mean any offense, but if you can do it, we can all do it. And I said, fine. Do you know what I mean? I agree.
Yeah.
If I can do it, you can all do it. Because I'm off the wall.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your vote of confidence. I say under 2 years would be, I think, a miracle. I can't even imagine that now, but I appreciate the vote of confidence. So
but we'll see in 6 months where you want, because everyone learns in waves and phases.
Yeah.
When we come back in 6 months, I will give a much more credible estimate. And maybe if I see what you pick up in 6 months, then I can gauge what you learn in the rest of the time.
Let's come back in 6 months. And do this. Also talk about the variables. I think maybe in 6 months I'll have a better understanding of what they are.
We'll do that over a series, but like I can promise you, like it's like when I speak to people, I can speak to them for 10 minutes and I can say, you're about 4 months away from profitability. I can say you're about 2 years away from profitability. I can say you're a midway, you've got about a year to go. But I can talk to people, listen to them, see how they think, see how they trade, and you can give them a time estimate to say, you'll be profitable in this amount of time. Wow. Or you'll never be profitable. Because you can see by how much they know and how far along the journey they are.
And, I think that's a really good point. There are some people who this may not be for. And those people,
most people
select that now and get out.
Most people. But like I already said, if after 3 months that ember didn't turn into an absolute flaming fire, then get out before you waste any more time.
All right, we'll close on that note. Thank you for this conversation. Peace. It was really good. It was good to learn.
Thank you. You too. It was good to be interviewed. It was fun. It wasn't so scary.